Hello there, welcome back to Prime Morning. I know that you're looking forward to this very segment. I'm excited to bring to you Let's Talk Relationship. But before we get into that, let me wish some very important people a happy birthday. My father always says that a minute above your head, nearer to your grave, but I think it's still worth celebrating. So let's wish Dr. Bwedi Nyameche a happy and glorious birthday. We pray that the Lord's anointing will stay on you so that you keep blessing us with the word and good prayer. Thank you so much for all you're doing for us. A happy birthday, Dr. Bwedi Nyameche. And a special birthday coming from me and Dijem Claudius to Dijem's husband, Mr. Okonko, founder of K Frontiers. They are into furniture, they're into room furnishing and also kitchen fittings. Thank you so much for what you're doing for the family, actually, Mr. Okonko. Thank you and a happy birthday. Have a good one today. Now today on Let's Talk Relationship, it's quite a tight one. And so we got all your favorite Reverend Daniel Annan back in the studio. We're asking the question that what is the role of parents or family in relationship or marriage? Can your parent or your family influence the relationship, negative or bad? But we'll zero it down to your parents. We've got two letters. One is pointing out to the traits or the character traits of their parents. Say, if my father married about 4 or 5 and I was a man, is it possible that I'll pick after my father? I'll marry maybe 3 or 4 or 5 as well. So we've got a few letters. At some point you can call in, but we'll put the telephone number underneath the screen so that you send us your comments, your questions. Reverend Annan is here, but he'll be helping us with some 2 letters that have coming. We actually put the letters up on social media since yesterday, and we've seen all of your comments. We'll take some time to read them. But Rev, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Did you say I look good in red?
Splendid, fantastic. I don't know whether adjectives I should add.
Thank you.
Superfluous, glorious.
Thank you. Thank you, Rev. Okay, so shall we just go straight to the letter? So the first letter is, Dear Prime Morning, I am Michael and I'm in my mid-30s. My fiancé and I have some serious issues that can lead to our breakup. We had planned to marry early this year, but our plan had to change because of my family. The thing is that my family claims we still had to do a number of introductions before we got married. Honestly, I've come from a very strong extended family where we do things as one big family. My fiancé, on the other hand, is so attached to her nuclear family and it's easy for her to make decisions and go ahead with it. She's so angry with me that she says my family is frustrating her. All my family is asking is that we change our wedding date and create some more familiarity before we go ahead with our plans. We have bought all our things needed for the wedding. Now I'm in between pleasing my family or my fiancé. I don't know what to do. Do you think my parents are destroying my relationship? Now, my fiancé has changed towards me. She thinks I can't make decisions on my own and always have to rely on my parents. But that's not the case. I'm really confused, Rev.
That's a fear that a woman is trying to express. Anyway, good morning to you too.
Good morning.
And to your viewers. Today marks another special day for one person who has been so close to me. Okay. And today is his 60th birthday. 60? Yes, Mr. Bennett Akantua. He's
Happy birthday.
The regional manager for Accountant General, Controller and Accountant General. I wish you all the best. She's been my great advisor. Okay. She comes in like punch.
Imagine Reverend Daniel Annan also having an advisor.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
You need people. You need 2 people who will tell you don't be silly. No, he's that type. Okay. He comes in and tells you, Pastor, don't be silly. Stop it. Okay. And such people help you build up. Okay. You need such people. Okay. God bless you. Now, you see, the woman is expressing fear because of immaturity. Anytime a woman begins to express fear of immaturity, then it creates an insecurity issue. Okay. Yes. You see, gray hair does not mean somebody is matured. Okay. Because, excuse me to say, a foolish person can grow gray hair. Sure. Good. So, when we enter into relationship, one key thing is relationship or marriage is for the adults, not only in age, but in maturity. Maturity will help you understand the context of where you are coming from, where you need to let people know their role as complementary, so that you don't allow them to be overbearing. Because the two of you are going to marry. We respect the family we are coming from. We respect people around us. But the decision and the choice to marry came from both of you.
Okay.
So the balance is that we should respect people's decisions, choices, and what they want to do. Bear in mind that you are coming from somewhere. Don't allow it to be overbearing. Now, when parents begin to see symptoms that their words are not capable enough, they tend to come in because they think if they don't help their son or daughter, they may go wayward. Okay. So when they have those fears, that's where you see them pushing so much. 2, when the family that the person is coming from, perhaps there is an inheritance or heritage, then they think that their interest ought to be protected. In such manner, they are very careful about who that person who is coming into their fold. So you hear that, let us build more familiarities before.
So who decides on the decision of building familiarities? Because I come from a very nuclear family. If the woman, not me, I naturally come from a very extended family. I was raised by both grandmother, uncles. Sometimes I have an uncle who is coming from Mando Talk or somewhere to come and beat me for something that yes. So I come from a very extended family. That's for me. But this woman is coming from a very nuclear family. That includes the mother, the father, and immediate siblings. And then the man is coming from an extended family where decision is not only based on both the mother and the father only, it extends to some uncles, cousins, backbones, friend, and all of that. These two people, the man says that, the extended family says that they should actually build more familiarities. This means that maybe this man's family who lives in Yeji have not met the woman. Okay? But this woman, all she needed was her family to see, her immediate family to see the man. So she's done with all the introductions and all of that. But why do I need to wait for your uncle coming from Yeji to come and meet me before we get married?
Good. You are a product of where you come from, the choices you make, and where you are coming from, your background, the environment you live in, and the choices you make, every person.
Okay.
So, in this case, this woman has this condition. What she needs to do is what I call the chemistry in marriage, or building understanding. Here is where wisdom ought to work, because you must not be naive about the situation where the man is coming from.
Okay.
This will allow you to make compromises in wisdom. Okay. Because don't just throw it away and let people think that the way you feel is how people should feel. Your viewpoint, where you stand to look at things, will determine your point of view. So if I'm sitting here to look at you, I look at you from where my eyes catches you.
True.
Somebody who is looking at you from another point will give a different perspective of you, but it's the same you.
But the marriage is between the man and the woman.
Yes, but you see, in our context, it's not only the two of you. They are though complementary, but how you handle them is very important, because in our setting, we said two families are married.
Okay.
So don't be naive about the cultural setting in which you are married. Should it be any other place, the two of them, they just get into court, they do their thing, they are finished. But in our case, it's different. So bear in mind this, you need to understand, where is my husband coming from? Who is my husband? Do you know your husband enough? You ought to know him. Okay. Then you also, your husband, you must understand that whenever you handle truth in life, when you overstretch it, you get into heresies.
What's that?
When you overstretch anything that is true, you get into something I call demonic. It becomes something else.
Okay.
So there should be limit as to which you must extend it.
So how do I know that I've gotten to my limit so that I don't stretch it?
Exactly. That's why I said the woman is expressing fear of immaturity. Here's where the man comes in. Daddy, my woman understands me. I love her. She also loves me. But I believe, can we let the introduction be ourselves and the people who are close to you? Maybe, can it be that? Because you need to talk to the person for them to understand. Other than that, the same way they will want you to introduce to the fourth generation, that will be the same thing. They will have influences in the marriage.
Okay.
So if you don't know when to say stop,
okay,
the water will always flow.
Because then they picked a date for their wedding ceremony, but he's forced to change the wedding ceremony because the family thinks that they need more familiarity with this woman. Is this fair on the woman?
No, it's not for the woman. What I'm saying is that the man ought to grow up a little.
Okay. Okay. So taking away this letter though, how much familiarity does a new couple or a yet-to-be couple need to have with both families before they even get married? How much? What should you know? The
familiarity should not only look at the family itself, but the two of you.
I like to think that maybe once you have decided to get married, you know each other already.
No.
You're going to the next stage. They don't.
That's the worst thing.
Okay.
That's the worst thing I've come across in my counseling career.
Really?
The worst, yes. They don't know themselves. They assume. You see, they assume that I know you. But you see, it takes two friends to marry.
Rev, I'm talking about the two people who think that what they have discovered about each other is enough. So they've decided to get married. Now they want to move to the family sides of each other. How much should I, as a woman, know about my man's family before I decide to get married? And how much should the man also know about the woman's marriage? What would you advise?
Yeah, I would advise that their backgrounds, the issues about familiarity comes from first truth. You see, somebody can tell you a story, but whether what he's telling you is the truth or not is another thing. Because sometimes, based on where the person is coming from, they tend to hide certain things.
Okay.
For instance, myself, the family I come from is a very big family. If I'm not careful and I don't handle things well, I may have a problem where my daughter or my son is marrying a family member. I'm an Annan. I'm from Gamashi. So anytime somebody says I'm called Annan, I'll ask the question, where from you? Is it from Fanti? Is it from Teshi? Is it from Abokobi? Or is it from Siani? Because my parents told me that my great-grandfather was a very rich man. His trade links were these areas. So anybody who bears that name and have another name added to it is a family member. It helped me. Now, what we need to do is that truth, transparency about where you are coming from is very necessary. This will allow you to open yourself up to where your family is coming from. One, in terms of their culture. Two, in terms of their financial status. Three, in terms of their marital status itself. Maybe they could be divorced or they could be separated or something. And four, any other thing untoward that you should let the person know so that he or she will not be exposed to something as if you hid it from him. He ought to know. Other than that, you see, you get into a family, you don't know them, and you become a foreigner.
Can a person coming from a nuclear family ever understand another person who's coming from an extended family? Because these are two different areas. A person who comes from a very nuclear family does things a certain type of way. They're very into themselves. They're not very open. And a person who's coming from an extended family, would it even ever work?
It can work. The greatest tool of development is change.
Okay.
So if you don't want to change, then you are not ready for development.
Okay. But is it enough to want to change your wedding date?
No. It's not. That's
so the guy is immature.
That's why I'm saying he should grow up.
Okay.
You see, when people are marrying, you ask yourself, what was the basis? What are the foundations for which they took the decision that I'll marry this person?
Right.
If you don't check these things, they will show up. For instance, if you sit with a man, anytime you are talking about something, I don't know, what do you think? It means what you
I'm waiting for my uncle who is coming from.
You are going to marry somebody who is, excuse me, is only agree.
Okay. Okay. So you can send in your comments. If you've got any question, you can share with us. I'll read the letter once more, and then we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll go to the next letter. But I think that Reverend has established that Michael, you are, you're being immature. Because for the fact that
progressive, so you should grow up.
So you should at least grow up. We can't really change your wedding date. You've set your date, and then you think because your family, you need more familiarity. You have to change your date. But anyway, so just a recap of the story. I'm Michael, and I'm in my 30s. I and my fiancé have serious issues that can lead to breakup. We had planned to marry early this year, but our plans had to change because of my family. Now, the thing is that my family claims we still have to do a number of introductions. What does that mean, though?
That's, they have to know extended your family, your hometown people, your chief, your uncles, your aunties, those in abroad, those who have decided to come and they have to see you before. Okay.
I see. I come from a very strong extended family where we do things as one big family. My fiancé, on the other hand, is so attached to a nuclear family, and it's easy for her to make decisions and go ahead with it. She's so angry with me and says that my family is frustrating her. Is this true?
Not really. Understanding is the key.
Okay. All my family is asking is that we change our wedding date and create some more familiarity before we go ahead with our plans. We've bought all our things needed for the wedding. Now I'm in between pleasing my family and my fiancé. My parents are destroying are my parents destroying my relationship?
No, they are not. They have not come to terms to understand you whether you are matured enough to handle it. So grow up.
Okay. Now my fiancé has changed towards me. She thinks I can't make decisions on my own and always have to rely on my parents. But that's not the case. I'm really confused.
The woman should not be confused. The issue is adjustment.
This is the man. The man is confused.
When the woman from her point is getting angry over it, she has also not come to understanding. So she should begin to build that capacity of understanding, because if you don't, challenges do not break us, they make us better. So anytime you have a challenge and you think it's the only way is to quit, then what about the next challenge? You will fight and run away.
Okay. Would come back and fight again another day. Okay. So these two people, they still want to get married. Your advice to them before I go on a break. What should Michael do? What should the woman also do? The woman shouldn't change, should she?
No. What they need to do first, they should build their trust. That's the most important thing.
What does trust got to do with me knowing your family and knowing? It looks like trust keeps running through all of these things. What's trust got to do with me knowing an uncle who is coming from Amsterdam?
You see, the two of you are making the decision as to when and what to do.
Okay.
But if you trust each other, whatever you are communicating, I can rely on the information. Because you see, I can only build understanding if I have a full grip of what you are telling me and it's the truth. Because when people don't have the truth, when people are not sure, they always want to seek the backup.
Okay.
Yes. So in this case, it's communication, it's misunderstanding. When the man is able to open up what it is, and the woman is able to open up what it is, then they can strike the compromise.
Okay.
And with that, they will be able to build the understanding. Then the woman can open up a little. The woman also should be able to cut off. So that I say, media, bush and the senior Tiana man and say you and they wouldn't media call. You have people like that.
Okay.
They are not prepared to sacrifice something. It cannot work.
Okay.
It cannot work, because if she allowed that wholesale, it means that marriage there will always be wholesale.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So Michael, I'm sure that you've heard Reverend Annan. We've got a second letter. And maybe I should just give you a background of that letter. Question will be that if my father married nearly about 5 women. And if I was a man, is it possible that I'll grow up to want to marry a lot of women as well? Is it very common?
Very.
It's very common.
Very, very, very common.
Okay. So stay with us. We've got a letter from a 26-year-old who's sharing his grievances. And I'll go for a quick break. When we'll come back, read the letter, and then we'll take your comments as well. The number will be 0551575757. So stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Back to Prime Morning. So today on Let's Talk Relationship, we're asking how much influence parents especially would have in your relationship or your marriage. And is it likely that you'd find some traits that your parents exhibited during their marriage in yours as well? If your mother was very calm in marriage, she won't talk back, she won't do all the things you expect a woman to do, a woman who suffers from the disease called womanness will do, is it likely that if you also get married, you will show such, traits? Reverend Annan established the fact that it's true, it's likely. So a man whose father is a purely womanizer, you're likely to have a son to turn out like that. Is that it? Why? How?
Yes. Check Abraham. Abraham married a fair woman. Isaac married a fair woman.
Oh, Sarah was fair?
Jacob, yes.
Okay.
They were all fair. They were all similar.
Why? Is this hormones or attitudes you pick?
It starts with attitude, but it develops into something else. So Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they all married similar women. Now what happened? David met, and now didn't want David and check it. David met a fair woman, obedience. I can't stand. Obey Tim.
I see.
He went out of the wedlock with his own friend. The next time, David's own son got attracted to his sister, Tamar, and the key word was that she was also fair.
Okay.
So I looked through the scriptures. So if you are coming from such background, that doesn't give you the permission or the license to misbehave.
But if something is in your blood, how do you control it?
You can
if it's genetic.
No, it's not. You have decision.
Really?
Yes.
How do you have control over something that's genetic, Rev?
You see, it's taste. Look, Abraham started that way. He was a polygamous man.
Okay.
Did Isaac do it? No. You have life is your decisions and your choices that you make. Don't blame issues on your father. I don't like to hear those things. People, something happened, it's my father, it's my mother. No, you took a decision. You know that this is where you are coming from. So when you look at that, these are warning signs. You see, children growing up do not learn only by what you tell them, but they learn by the environment from which they came from and what they see their parents doing. And they begin to form an opinion, and that is the truth. So they grow with it. So when you find an abusive man, he thinks that when you beat a woman, then he becomes disciplined. He grows with that thinking until he watches Joy Prime in the morning on Wednesday. No, I'm serious.
Okay.
Now, he received that education, sees that no, that thing is wrong. That you should be responsible for your actions and inactions, your choices and your decisions. And you should understand that you are in that marriage for companionship. You are in that marriage for somebody to complement you, to build a common vision, something you can be proud of. Would you beat that person? Would you allow somebody else to come in? The worst thing about this issue is that that's when they want to get somebody else.
What if the wanting to get somebody else is genuine? They feel strong genuinely about that.
What is that genuine about? Tell me.
Okay, let's go to the 26-year-old.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Please, I beg you 1 minute. Does that woman have 4 eyes?
2. Everybody's got 2. Unless you're an alien. 1 nose with 2 nostrils.
The system unit, is it 2?
Which one is the system unit?
Where they browse?
Where the women have cafe that they browse.
Oh, no, where the men browse. Where the system unit.
Okay, so we've got to, apparently it's not a man, it's a lady. Dear Prime Morning, I want you to keep me anonymous. Clearly, we'll do that. I'm a young lady of 26 years, and I got married to a handsome man in January 2021. It's been only a few months now, and anytime I reflect on a few things about my husband's background, I become scared. I'm scared that he will divorce me. The reason is that my husband has told me a lot about his father. His dad had him out of wedlock and married another woman. A few years into that marriage, his dad got divorced and married another woman. Before I met my husband, he already had a child also out of wedlock. I see a lot of his father's traits in him. I'm scared that he would divorce me, just like his father has done, and marry another woman. What should I do? I love him and I don't want to lose him. He doesn't really show me love and affection and sees nothing wrong with it when I complain. He also told me how abusive his father was. This even scares me the most, that he could be abusive too. How do I really handle him before things escalate into something else I cannot handle?
You see, so the guy is exhibiting some traits of the father. But you know something? You know a tiger can be tamed.
How? I am told that a man brought a monster home, or a man created a monster. One day the monster ate him. Oh no, not all monsters will eat you. This one we can tame. Okay.
What I'm trying to say is that Saddam Hussein had a wife.
He did?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Osama bin Laden had a wife. True. Did they betray him?
I'm not too sure.
No.
You never know.
I know they didn't.
Okay.
We never heard. Okay. Charles Taylor had a wife and divorced a woman. When even Charles Taylor had problems, the woman says he still loves Charles Taylor. What am I trying to say?
Okay.
If you're a woman, God has given you everything enough to keep a man. You need to begin to learn how to keep a man. Men are not dogs. They can be tamed. It took words for Delilah to put Samson on her lap. And Samson says, Samson, man, cut your woman, I will die. Delilah did not pull a knife. So what we need to do is have the skill to tame a man. And it's possible, I'm telling you.
Are these skills
works.
Are these skills sold to the market or the pharmacy?
No, it's sold on Job Prime in the morning, this Wednesday.
What are these skills?
First, when you get into a man's world, what he looks for is a woman who will respect, not be foolish. There's difference between stupidity and respect.
At the same time and simultaneously, is the man looking out, is the woman supposed to be looking out for what she wants in the man as well?
Yes, of course. But you see, when you are solving problems, I don't solve problems for their angle, because I don't have control.
Whose angle?
From the man's angle.
Okay.
So when I'm solving problems, I solve problems from my angle where I have control.
Okay.
Because I cannot change him, but I can change. And I'm praying that my change will influence him to change.
Okay, Rev, give me a minute before you land on that point. Let me open the phone lines. People can join in the conversation. Please call us on 0302-211-69094, 0302-211-69094. Please send your comments to 0551575757. Please do not call the WhatsApp line. Please be kind to me, be nice to me, and do not call the WhatsApp line. Please call 0302-2113. Don't let me jam the numbers up. My producer will put the numbers on the screen, please. Rev, please go on.
So the first thing in a man's life is that he's looking for somebody who respect and honor him.
Okay.
Who appreciate who he is, he'll respect him, he'll honor him at all times. So first of all, that's what you need. Men interpret respect, honor, and acceptance as love. You don't tell a man that you love him.
Really?
Yes, you tell him, you just look at you. I'm telling you, when you tell a man, when you tell a woman you love him, you love her, she understands. But to us men, because I love you back, but when you respect a man, when you honor him, when you appreciate him, when you affirm him, then the man, this woman. That's the man's world. I'm talking about the man's world. It's not your world, it's our world. That's how we interpret it. So when you begin to do that, then the man knows, I have somebody who above all women appreciate who I am. So the attraction begins to come. That's the first thing. The second thing every woman is looking out for is somebody who will help. It's looking for a helper. When we talk about help, people, it's not only financial, somebody who is there to offer you. You go ahead.
But Rev, I like to think that this young man already looked out for all these traits in this woman before they got married. Remember, they got married in January, early this year. Except that the woman is sharing her fears of the fact that the man keeps.
You said you guess.
They're married, actually.
No, it doesn't matter. I've told you, people can marry and for wrong reasons, and they are in it. But when they get married, they want to solve the problems. That's why I said, when people are making decisions to marry, we assume that what the decision that they took was right. When you go to an examination hall, I'm asking you, they give you a set of questions. You answer, you know that you were right. But the examiner comes and says, you are wrong.
It's got a marking scheme, maybe.
It means you had an idea, but your idea was wrong. True or false?
You can go for a remark and get a higher score.
No, most times you thought that you were correct. But when it came, you are wrong. It doesn't mean that the choice that you have made, that doesn't mean that is automatically correct. You see, when people get into that situation, people marry for so many reasons. And a financial marriage. Somebody got attraction because of, like your own, beautiful oranges. I like beautiful oranges. If you know who say, we know a different, and Sunday chamber and also got oranges now. It begins to ask us, I married 2 beautiful oranges. But when I went, I saw it is chamber and hall. Sometimes it's 2 bedrooms and hall with a corset. I didn't know the corset was there. Right. So I saw that it was 2 bedrooms and hall.
I don't know, confusing me. Let's talk to Monica. Hello, good morning, Monica.
The men, they understand.
Good morning.
Monica, how are you doing? Thanks for calling us.
Yeah, I'm very good.
Okay.
The show is very interesting, and I just want to add up to what you people are saying.
Please go on, Monica.
For the traits from parents is very, very true. I don't really want to say certain things from my mom's side, but I nearly fell into it.
Really? What's that? Share with me, if you don't mind.
That's why I don't want to say what went through with my mom or what she went through during and then before marriage, before she entered into marriage.
Okay.
I nearly fell into it. So all what I'm saying is very, very true. But with what Uncle is saying is very, very true. You have to decide for yourself. You wouldn't say, my mom went through that or my dad went through that, so definitely I will also go through that or I have to go through that. No, it's a decision. When you realize this is what your background is or what your dad did or what your mom did, and you think it is coming to you, or you think if you're not careful, you will also fall into that. It's a decision. You are a human being. You have to think for yourself. I nearly fell into what my mom went through before marriage, and I sat down and said, no, I don't have to let this thing repeat itself, because it came, and I had to find a way to solve the problem.
Okay.
And maybe I could just say, oh, it has come, so let me just keep it that way. Because after all, it happened to my mom. But I said, no, it has come though, but I did not let it appear to the world or to show itself outside for people to know that, okay, this has also happened to me. So it's really true that some traits also happen to you. But you have to decide for yourself too.
Okay.
Because you're growing up, you have to decide for yourself, okay, this is what has happened. I don't have to let it repeat. Some people to know, oh, this is in our family. Maybe after me, this is what my younger sister or my younger brother also do. And maybe my daughter also do. No. Though it happens and though it is true, but you have to decide for yourself and make a right decision. Fine, let me seize it. Let me draw the line. Let me create a gutter so that when the river goes to that gutter,
it will have some drainage system. Thank you so much, Monica. Thank you.
Yeah,
you made my money.
But as a human, you have to decide for yourself.
Thank you.
Make the right decision.
Thank you. By the way, you share the same name with my late mother. Thank you, Monica. Have a good one today. So I've got a few messages coming in. This is coming from Ruth from Asin Fosu. Good morning. I have a boyfriend. My parents know him. They said they don't want him as a son-in-law. Please do not call the WhatsApp number. You might want to call 0302-211-69394 and send messages to the one on the screen, 0551575757. Okay, so Ruth says that I have a boyfriend. My parents know him and they said they don't want him as a son-in-law. Unfortunately, it's difficult to read because you're calling the WhatsApp number, but want my male best friend as their son-in-law. I don't know what to do.
Usually, people take such decisions when there are tribal issues or financial considerations. So that will not even also work, because if you get to marry that person, it will work. You don't get into a marriage because somebody's decision that this person will be better for you. I mean, you are going to be in a marriage. So it means like it's not a default. It's something I don't like the person. You say I should marry. Okay, I'll marry you because of you.
Okay.
When he stays in that marriage, the least thing that happens, they back off.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is what she wants, though.
She doesn't want the man. It's the family's introducing another person
who's her best friend.
Yes.
So maybe they're so used to this man around them, they think it's the best.
You don't judge.
So is the family that's judging, aren't they?
Yes.
That's wrong, isn't it?
It's wrong.
Okay.
You see,
what should she do? Ignore them and choose the one she loves?
He has to handle it politely and tactically, because other than that,
this thing's always harming. This thing's always harming and unmorally.
You see, when you don't bring your issues clear, people think that you are naive or you are immature, so you cannot take a decision. So they think they have to take a decision for you. Quite often it happens in our context in most African countries, most sub-Saharan countries, where I brought somebody to you. Why? Because they know that their son cannot handle the issue well. So people ought to grow up to take wise decisions and be responsible for the decisions that they take.
Okay, we'll come back to finally what this 26-year-old young lady who got married in January should do specifically. But I'm going to take this message from Basiara. So, hi Joy Prime, my name is Basiara from Wale Wale. I'm 26 years and I got married at the age of 23. And my husband comes from a strong extended family. My husband is a health worker and I am a caterer. I'm in Wale Wale and he is in Shidium. So we don't stay together. Anytime I want to go to him, his family will be like, I'm going to frustrate their son. Please help me ask counselor. Don't I have a right to be with my husband?
You have a right, but I think the husband, the family is dependent on that guy. There's so much dependency on the guy at Fidium. I mean, in terms of taking care of the family, when these things happen, when people are coming from poor background, they think that the person has a responsibility towards them first before they come to you, the wife. Why should a wife, when it's going to visit the husband, should it be a problem to the parents? It shouldn't. But they think that when that wife goes there, it becomes a challenge for them. Once he's not there, staying here and there, they have influence over the son.
Wow. And
it should not happen. Because you see, don't marry when you are not staying together.
How do you mean?
When marriage, it becomes distant marriage. Distant marriages are not only in abroad, even in Ghana here. If you are not careful.
What if it's needful?
It's needful, but whatever it is, the space should not be like you are absent. Okay? Let it not be like you are absent.
Okay.
So if you are in Ghana here, come on.
So, this 26-year-old woman who got married earlier this year in January and is feeling all sorts of way about her husband because of what the husband has been telling her. Husband had a child out of wedlock, first of all. Father was an abuser and all of that. She's already afraid of things that haven't happened already. What would you say to her?
Fear is not a key. I mean, working towards faith and optimism is always the key, because whatever you are doing as a woman, you are doing it not for only the man, but you are building yourself, you are building your capacity to handle the issue. First of all, I said, a man's word, if you want to get a man's heart, then it means you ought to have respect, honor, and that for the person. The next thing that you need to do, he needs somebody who plays a helper's role in terms of emotional help, that will be there. Somebody who speaks well, he has that counsel, he's that person. When you come in, he's just like a nugget. No. He wants somebody who he can talk to. He may not start talking to you, but when you come into a position that you understand the person and begin to communicate well in terms of emotional help, in terms of physical help, in terms of sexual help, that man come to man I didn't know for you to know. Listen, wait.
Hello, but Rev.
Let me talk. Let me talk.
Rev. But how will that rule out the fact that the husband had a father who was abusive or is abusive?
That's what I'm trying to say, that you need to capture the man's world. When the man is satisfied, when you are satisfied, when somebody brings another food, would you eat?
No.
Unless you're a greedy person.
But some people are gluttons.
There are few.
Okay.
I'm trying to say that when you play your role well, one, in terms of respect, second, in terms of help, Third, in terms of effective communication, when you are able to do all these things and do it well, you build your capacity as a woman who is capable.
Okay.
So when you build your capacity as a woman who is capable, you have solved the problem, about 70% of the problem. Because when you get into this world and you feel that vacuum in his life, he becomes accommodating. He begins to develop much more love. And when that God aspect comes in, it's very important. When that person fears God, when he's doing evil to you,
well, why is a woman giving so much just for what is due her?
You see, that's why I'm saying that if it were to be the man who has brought the problem, I would have solved it from another point.
Okay, so we're solving it from... So this woman should do what she has to do and stay in her lane. And do what she has to. She shouldn't be afraid. Her lane.
Okay.
So she's thinking about an abusive father of her husband, because the man is not abusive yet, but she's thinking about what can happen tomorrow, and the fact that the man had a child out of wedlock.
I'm sorry, very romantic.
Okay.
She should be sweet.
Okay. Rev.
You are sweet. No, you see, when you are not like that, it is taste that takes a man to another person. Taste.
You mean food?
Men. Sorry, children are watching.
I didn't change though. But so finally, I'll take your final words. The man who's changed his wedding date for his extended family to get to know this incoming wife, and the woman who's afraid of what's yet to happen. Wrap it all up and give us the final
Marriage
advice.
is one of the most beautiful things God has given unto us. I've always said, next to Jesus Christ, I got to know the best thing that happened to me is my marriage. Last Saturday, I was 27 years in marriage.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just...
I don't like to do the math with my age.
So it's a beautiful thing. And I salute my wife. She's just on point. She's not excellent, but we are progressively working towards it. So if you are entering into marriage, see it as a beautiful thing, so handle it well. Remember that somebody's daughter could be also your sister. So what you do not expect somebody to do it to your sister, don't do it to the person. Men should grow up. Don't marry because of love only. Marry because you are wise. And build your capacity as a woman to be able to stay. Even if that relationship does not work, you have built your capacity.
Thank you so much, Reverend Daniel Annan. Reverend Daniel Annan says that you should add a little bit of knowledge and then produce a bit of wisdom in your marriage, so that
you know, sweet.
And be sweet as well. Be sweet as well. My name is Emefa Akosua Adeti. This has been Let's Talk Relationship. We'll come back tomorrow as well for Prime Morning. Another good one, it promises. Jay was here earlier. Benjamin also has been here. And we wish all the October celebrants a happy birthday. Stay well. We'll see you tomorrow.